Today is Friday, November 28th, 3:51 p.m. All praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, and to His Holy Son, Yahweh Shai, forever and ever, so let it be true. Love, honor, and respect to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and to His Holy Son, Yahweh Shai, who died for the 12 tribes of Israel. Matthew chapter 15, verse 24, Matthew chapter 10, verse 5 and 6. And double honors to the apostles of GMS, to the 4 major prophets, to the 12 minor prophets, and to the hopeful elect, the brothers, the Akim, the saints, 144,000 men who are preaching the word of God on the 4 corners of this earth, risking their lives day in and day out. And shalom, peace and blessings to my brothers, sisters, and children who are watching this video. We're on another lesson, and today's title, I don't know what it's going to be, how I'm gonna put up on that title, but I want to talk about people will be displaced. We're in that time. All right, 2025 was bad. It was the year. You see how fast this year went too. This is the fastest year. This is the fastest, that I can remember. This is the last few years have been going quick, but this year it felt like 3 months. Where Monday's going to be December 1st, but this year was the purge of the jobs. Looking up the word displaced. The word displaced, let me see here, but rather refers to core meaning or words of Saul. Let's say meanings of displaced: forced to leave home, to be compelled to leave your home, country, or homeland due to conflict, natural disaster, and other emergencies. Okay, and I believe we're going to 4 years with the war in Russia and Ukraine. Actually, it was that war has been happening since 2014. All right, with the proxy wars. But when Russia sent their military uniform soldiers into Ukraine, that was I believe it's coming up on 4 years. Okay, but World War III, American soldiers and NATO and our special forces have been killing Russians since 2014 with the proxy war. Okay, so like I said, we're in World War III, and I've been saying this for years. Okay, but things are moving, things are escalating. And where it says right here, where God says, we're talking about being displaced, forced to leave home. That happened when Russian soldiers entered Ukraine. People that lived their lives in the major cities, small towns, had to run for their lives. And that's in the Holy Book. Okay, it's in the Holy Book where you're going to have to leave your home with the shirt on your back. Whatever you have, you're just going to have to run. You're not going to even have time to run back home. All right? This happened with the people that lived in Ukraine. Okay? And Russia only invaded Ukraine because the United States and NATO and Israel is a part of that plot to take out Russia. Okay, I call them the three demons. All right, that they're want to conquer the whole world. All right, they want the whole world in their hands, which starts with the top, the Rothschild family. Because remember, America is a corporation. All right, you're not free. America is a plantation, and you're all the slaves. Okay, your job is to just go to work, keep your mouth shut, and listen to your politicians, to Congress, to your senators, all right, to your president, the branches of government. Don't question your rulers, all right? They just want you to obey. Yes, sir, no, sir. And just go to work, keep your mouth shut, and work and pay your taxes, all right? It'll never end. You're never going to retire, and all your money in the bank is worthless. All right. That's why we're on the rooftops. We're on top of these towers for decades, preaching the word of God. We're on the hilltops. All right. We're on the tower, and we've been preaching the word of God, warning the people of what's coming. We're at the end of the age. It's the end of the world. People are in denial. They're in fantasy world. But people in Ukraine have been displaced. And before that, when the United States bombed Iraq to Kingdom Come, same thing, we bombed Syria and Afghanistan. You know, we can go way back to the 90s when the United States started building U.S. Military bases all over the Middle East. And we bombed Iraq, and we displaced millions of people. And, you know, you can go and look up UN, United Nations, of how many people they think were killed, but that's on a low number. Okay, you can look it up. I've done videos on it. But the United States is owned by who? The Rothschild family. Right? They own the United Nations. They own New York City. They own the Vatican. They own all the major international banks of the world. Okay, but the Rothschilds, their military might is the United States. All right. Your Air Force, your Navy, your Marines, your Army, your Special Forces. Okay. And we have Blackwater. You have other, the CIA, the FBI, but you have, they control these forces that go around the world, and they kill at will. They take orders from the Rothschild family. And it's on. They're on a rampage. But people in Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, they were displaced from their homes. Millions and millions of people. One day they were home, and the next day they never seen their home again. They were running for their lives. Well, that's going to happen here in America and Europe and Latin America. Things are about God's, the Most High, Yahweh, the Heavenly Father. He's about to shake things up on this earth. And 2026 is going to be a year of terror. 26, 27, and 28. It was, the last 3 years were bad. Recession. 2026 will be the depression. And I'm going to go into some of these places that have been the layoffs. I can't even keep up with them, that are happening right now in the United States. So forced to leave home, to be compelled to leave your home country, our homeland, due to conflict, natural disaster, and other emergencies. And that ICE, you see what they're doing to the Latin tribes. They're picking them up and they're sending them all over the world. All right, you have they pick up men and women and children, put them on planes, and they're not just going to Mexico, or they're not just dropping them in Central America or South America. They're dropping them in Africa. They're dropping them in different parts of the world. So imagine that. One day you're in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the next day you're somewhere in Southwest East Africa, or somewhere in South America. This is going to happen to millions of people. And what they're doing to the Latin tribes, ICE, which is, just look at them as the Nazis, okay? And then we just found out that a lot of those, if you notice, a lot of them guys that work for ICE, they have their faces covered. And the reports are coming out that many of these men that are in the United States, part of this ICE, are from the IDF, from the Special Forces in Israel. Okay, they're special. They're trained killers to purge a population. Remember, Donald Trump, I have to tiptoe what I'm saying is, this is the man in your Congress and your Senate, but this is the spirit that's on him is, he's a Caesar, and he's gonna provoke civil war and race wars. Okay, and you seen what happened a couple of days ago with those National Guard. I believe both of them passed on. One was a woman, and then there was a young man. I would have to look it up right here, but I want to stay on this for a minute about being displaced. But things are going to start getting violent in these cities. All right, we've been warning, and like I said, 2025 things are moving with the purging of jobs and the escalation of racial tension in this country and civil war. Okay, this is the guy that's gonna trigger, all right, in 2026. It's already making people everywhere you go. You can look up these videos, and people are fighting back. It's going to be a back and forth. All right, this is the time that we're living in. But I'll look it up to see if that guy, I believe that the man died today. So moved from your position, to be removed from a usual or proper place, which can also apply to objects or event. Replaced, to take the place of something else. Displaced person, individuals or groups forced to leave their home, but who remain within their country's borders, are also known as internal displaced persons. Displaced international, and it goes on. But the point is, many will be displaced, moved out of their homes. Now let me look up, did that the two National Guard service members, did they both pass on? Are they both deceased? It says right here, let me see here. Sarah Beck Storm died from her injuries on Thanksgiving Day, November 27. Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, 24, underwent surgery and remains hot, and he's in critical, fighting for his life. But before I came out, I thought they said he passed on. National Guard members shot near White House has died, Trump says. All right, let me read this article here. Yeah, I thought, like I said, I'm all over the place. And I listened to a lot of the national news. I'm doing my own research, but before I came out, I heard where they said that the man passed on. But let me see. We know what we know about the National Guard members who were victims of the DC shooting. Sarah and Andrew were serving on DC's Safe and Beautiful mission when they were shot Wednesday afternoon. One of the two of the National Guard shot in a targeted ambush shooting Wednesday afternoon. Sarah died of her wounds, Trump said during a Thanksgiving Day parade a Thanksgiving Day phone call with U.S. troops. Andrew Wolf, National Guard, is he alive or deceased? This says very critical condition as of Friday, November. It says Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf of the West Virginia National Guard is currently in very critical condition at MedStar Washington Hospital Center as of Friday, November 28, 2025. He has not died, but very critical. All right, this is the sign of the times. Okay, this is the sign of the times that we're living in, and it's just going to escalate. Okay.
A sign of the times refers to events or trends that reveal key aspects of our current culture, economy, or environment. For some, this means global challenges like climate change, while others see religious prophecy. It can be either a secular observation or have religious meanings.
Okay. It's going to escalate. Okay. And you see ICE, they're mostly picking up, I don't see them picking up these hardcore gang members, cartels. I don't see none of that. What I do see in the videos that I've been watching the last few months, they're picking up family members. They're picking up kids from school. They're picking up mothers. They're picking up people that are selling tacos at a taco stand. Just like people that are just trying to work, mind their business. And you have a lot of people that have a lot of hate that says that they don't belong here. And we could debate that, all right? Especially these people that say, you have a lot of American people that said they don't belong here, all right? But they're part of the tribes that the Most High sent on this side of the world thousands of years ago. And we have the scriptures to back it up. All those Latin Native American tribes are the ancient Hebrew Israelites. The whole world belongs to us. All right. Just remember, and I'm talking to the nations, talking to Esau, the Amalekites, the grandson, and to the nations. You're only alive because of Jacob. And we can get into scriptures on that. But for them to have the audacity to say that they have God given rights to walk this land, and that they're more American or more native to this land than the Latin tribes, and you need your brain checked, okay? Because the Native Americans and those Mexicans and people from Central America and South America are part of the ancient Hebrew Israelites. They were on this side of the world before any Edomite, any Greek boy, Roman boy, or Anglo-Saxon boy ever walked on this earth, on this side of the earth. All right, Esau was only created because of us, and that's on a different lesson. Okay, but you have people that says, oh, they're illegals. You know, how dare anybody say that they're illegal? Okay, now you'll see me in past videos. I jump on these Latin tribes. Okay, because they're not serving the Lord. They're not living a righteous lifestyle. They worship idols. They're worshiping gods of the nations, and that's why you'll see me be hard on the tribes. I'm hard on all 12 tribes. You know, I don't want to be around nobody, to tell you the truth. I just like to make my videos. I like to preach, and I get right to the point, and that's that. But I'm hard on all 12 tribes because I don't want to see none of my brothers and sisters to be destroyed. I want them to be saved. All right, but it's prophecy. 2/3 are not going to make it. All right, and that's the Most High's decision, not my decision. Remember, I'm just a piece of dust under the Most High's foot. I don't want to see no one destroyed. Okay. I want people to come to the truth. All right. But things are going to get. The Most High is shaking everything up. All right. And just remember, these people that are rooting, they're rooting for these land tribes to get picked up. What they don't know, what we know, this is just a dry run. They're coming after everybody. All right. I don't care if you're Irish, English, German, Russian, French, Northern Italian, Southern Italian. I don't care if you're from Crete. All right. Athens, doesn't matter. Polish, Scottish. All right. If you're from the Middle East, I don't care where you're from. They're coming for you. It's a dry run right now getting these Latin tribes, but they're coming for everybody that doesn't obey and worship the beast, which is the 666. Okay, and one of these days I'll bring out. They came out, you have the Twilight Zone from way back in the day, and then they did a new series of a Twilight Zone, and I watched them a couple years back, and one of the Twilight Zones, and I'll find it and I'll do a lesson on it maybe in a couple weeks or something. But it shows a Latin woman, a maid, get picked up in a roundup, and it shows it was an Anglo woman that owned the house, and she was with her friends when they came to get her and taken away, and she was just like, she didn't stop them, she didn't do nothing, and she looked like she was concerned, but she just let them take her. Okay. But in the show, it shows that they come back and pick her up, and she's in the same facility, the same concentration camp as the Latin maid. But like I said, I'll do a video on it. And that was spiritual, because they're not only just going to go after these Mexicans, Central Americans, and South Americans, okay, and they're really hard on them. But they're starting to pick up people from all. They're getting Vietnamese, Chinese, but not like how they're going against the Latins. It's like 99% of them that are getting picked up are the Latin tribes. I mean, they're just like, and that's the spirit that the Most High is putting on Esau to go after these Latin tribes. Okay, because we've been out here preaching the word and they don't listen. They're hard heads, knuckleheads, and you're going to learn the hard way. Okay, not only is the Most High going to break down, once he breaks down America, remember the whole world's going to go into darkness, because the United States, the people here have a spending problem. Like today is supposed to be Black Friday. You have a bunch of dummies out there spending at the malls, and most of them are on credit cards in debt. Which debt is death. You're just digging a grave for your family, and they're going to come after you people. You owe debt, and during these times, they're coming for you. I just seen an article, people that owe the banks, or they're behind on their credit cards a few $100, they're being sued just for a few $100. We're not talking about in the tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking just a few $100. They're being sued. And I told you from way back in Europe, they have debt prisons, and they already have them built. You're gonna pay. You're gonna get picked up. You think this is a joke? There's gonna be a time you're not gonna be able to bankrupt. We warned you though, just like we warned you and told you they could make you work for free with no paycheck. And remember, the government came back. They said the government's back. The government is back up and running. Okay. I just seen an article. You can look this one up. Oh, I'll just look it up for you right here. I'm gonna look it up. About the government shutdown, that there's federal employees still haven't been paid for back pay. There's videos, you can look it up.
Most federal employees will get back pay, but there are exceptions. Those who were already on non-pay status or considered absent without leave before the shutdown might not receive it for that time. Also, contractors and other non-federal workers are not included in the back pay guarantee.
After lawmakers reached a deal that ended There's videos on YouTube. You can look it up. There's even some on ABC, NBC. This one's not really showing anything. Employees not on a pay status. It's not showing nothing on this one. Let's see if there's a government employee still waiting to get back pay. Let's see if this comes up.
Some government employees, particularly in the Defense Department, are still awaiting back pay due to delays in processing, but it is required by law. Employees should check with their agency and payroll office.
Okay, here's
for
one that
updates
says
on their
some
payment.
DOD civilians are still waiting for back pay weeks after shutdown. It says cuts to federal workforce surpass. Let me see. IRS hastens back pay timeline. Federal employees may soon get back pay for a time. There's videos out there, and I seen it on ABC where they still haven't got paid. Okay, like I said, they don't care, and people thought that couldn't happen, but people are in shock and awe. And there's going to be a time where you're just going to have to go to work. All right, people are gonna. There's going to be a draft, but there's going to be such a severe famine coming that the only way for your family to eat is to send your children into this war. And we've been telling you this. You're going to have to join the military for your loaf of bread, for yourself and for your family to eat. We're not talking about steaks, chicken, and all that. That you're no longer going to see that at the grocery store no more. That's only going to be for the rich. There'll be turkey, there'll be chicken, there'll be steaks, fish, tuna, pink salmon. That's going to be for the super rich. But for the poor, you're going to be eating out of cans. If you eat out of cans, it's death. And you've seen the article about Campbell's. All right, they said that guy. I don't know if he was a CEO. Let me see. That was a good one too. Campbell's Soup. Was he a CEO? They had recorded. He said it wasn't real food, and it was only for poor people. All right. I've been saying for years, never eat out of a can. All right. Never eat out of a can, or don't eat nothing from a corporation. All right. They look at you as maggots. All right. What are those Jews, those fake Jews? They call you guys. Well, they call everybody. That's not part of them. They call them goyim. Campbell's Soup executive named Martin Bally was secretly recorded making disparaging comments, but he was a vice president, not the CEO. The incident came to light recently through a lawsuit filed by a former employee, Robert Garza, who recorded an hour-long conversation with Bally in November of 2024. The recorded individual, Martin, was the vice president and chief information security officer at Campbell's. According to the news reports and the lawsuit, the recorded voice, which the company confirmed it believes belongs to Martin, allegedly made several offensive remarks, described Campbell's products as shit for effing poor people and highly processed food. He doesn't eat it. All right, what does that tell you? He likes his paycheck though, but he doesn't care. You think he's going to be out here with the garment preaching the word of God and warning the people not to eat Campbell's soup? No, he doesn't care. See, he didn't know this guy was recording him. All right, and people still buy this stuff, but I think this could be the nail in the coffin for Campbell's. All right, because there's an outrage right now. It says he claimed that the company uses bioengineered meat, fake meat, and 3D printed chicken, which the company has called absurd and false. Of course they're going to say that, because it's the nail in the coffin. Anything out of a can is not real. Remember, they can make things smell like a rose, but it's not a rose. They can make something smell like an orange or taste like an orange, but it's not an orange. These people are witches and warlocks. You ever watch that movie Frankenstein? All right, you ever watch those witches and they have that big old, they have that brew? This is what these demons do. Remember, they control the dew of heaven. That's one of the blessings of Esau, which he controls the farms. That's why you got to do your own farming, or go to some of these small farms in your state. All right, I go to the farms here in the state, and I go and I always buy organic, and I make my own food. All right, but 99% of the stuff at the grocery store is garbage and it's fake. All right, and that's why people are sick. It's a $1 trillion industry. You know, but people, no one listens. We're only here for the elect. Remember that. God's only going to save the elect. So smarten up. And if you brothers and sisters have been watching and you're still going to fast food restaurants, I mean, you should be ashamed of yourself. Okay? Fast food and stuff out of cans and frozen stuff. And if you're using a microwave, go to the nearest hospital and go get your brain checked. I mean, because you're double-minded and you're gone. Okay. But yeah, they're gonna deny this. All right. But he was recorded and it came out. Made racist comments about Indian co-workers, calling them idiots. Admitted to sometimes coming to work under the influence of marijuana. And it goes on and on. But going on to something else, I'm just bringing you the news. Like I said, I can't even keep up with this stuff. It's out of control over here. I mean, just everything is moving quick. But change the way you eat, and insurance is going up. All right. And like I said, the government's running right now, but it's going to be back. It's going to be a shutdown back on the date January 31st, 2026. It's going to close again. Right. They didn't accomplish nothing. The people that got hurt were the employees, and they did mass firings and layoffs during that time. All right, and then they're talking about this 50-year mortgage. Who's going to even do a 50-year? I don't care if they do a 100-year mortgage, which that's probably down the pipeline with these Amalekites, these Zionists. Doesn't matter if they do a 100-year mortgage. The thing is, you're never going to get done paying it. Second thing is, how are you going to pay for something if you don't have a job? With all these mass layoffs, purge, and I can't even keep up with it. I'll read the one with what is it? Tyson layoffs in Nebraska.
Tyson Foods is closing its beef processing plant in Lexington, Nebraska, which will result in approximately 3,200 jobs.
I'm on a video. I'll call you back. Sorry, brothers and sisters. But Tyson Foods is closing its beef processing plant in Lexington, Nebraska, which will result in the layoff of approximately 3,200 workers. I believe this town only has 9,000 people, so that's 1/3 of the population without a job. They're in big trouble. And I believe they're going to close in January. Yeah, it says right here. Nebraska, which will result in a layoff of approximately 3,200 workers. The closure is scheduled for late January 2026, and it's attributed to a shortage of U.S. cattle. Not only this, Nebraska is getting hit. I talked to a guy, it was about a month ago, and he was talking about Nebraska, the farms, how they're being destroyed because of China is buying. They're going to Latin America. Okay, they're not even going to mess with the United States. So you have all these farmers that are bankrupting, that are losing everything. They're losing everything. They're losing their home. They're losing everything that they have. All right, things are changing, and it's not for the good for Americans. So Nebraska is getting hit hard. All right, with these farmers losing everything, and now you have these this Tyson Foods that over 3,200 workers. All right, And we're not talking about what's going on with UPS, Amazon, and it goes on and on with tens and tens of thousands. We're way over 1 million jobs gone. We're probably by the end of the year, probably going to get close to 2 million. And some reports are saying it's over that. Okay? But for 2026, we're talking about millions and millions of jobs lost. This is just the beginning. People are worried. People are shaking like a leaf. What happens if it happens to us? Because once that income stops, especially for this 3,000, we're just talking about this little town, that this town is finished. Everybody in that town is going to have to sell their home and move out as fast as they can. But who's going to buy this? Who's going to buy their home? All right. When you have a big plant like that leaving, all right, 3,200 workers that go to the grocery stores, they go to the retail stores. It's a small town, so they don't have no big mall there. It's mom and pop shops. They're done. When 1/3 of the city's population no longer has a job, it's called game over. Now these people are they're shaking in their boots right now because these men and women are sitting down with their families. What are we going to do? And most of them didn't prepare. They didn't plan. Like the great men of the Holy Book: Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. The sons, the 12 tribes, the brothers. All these men were men who were great men who prepared. We believe there's going to be days of plenty and there's going to be days of famine. That's called perfect balance. And you're only going to get that from here and the other brothers that are under the apostles and the prophets that are out here, the real men of the Lord. All right. Now these people are going to try to sell their house, but who's going to buy that house when they know that the whole town is going to get buried? They're not going to be able to sell their homes. They're going to end up losing them and going homeless. All right. And I believe Verizon. Oh yeah, and it was talking about Tyson too. They're going to close some plants in Texas. Is there any articles about Tyson closing Tyson plants in Texas? Yes.
Articles report that Tyson is reducing operations at its Amarillo, Texas beef plant, switching to a single shift, which will eliminate around 1,700 jobs.
And Texas is already done. The two states that are going down right now in the United States is Florida and Texas, were the most foreclosures. And then you got Nevada and Arizona. All right, you shouldn't even be living in the desert. Okay, you're going to learn the hard way. Do you know it hasn't snowed in Denver? It's going on we're breaking records from the 1800s. Tomorrow they said we might get the first trace of snow. Could be tomorrow, but we'll see. They said that about a week ago and it didn't snow. All right, we'll see what happens. But I believe now it's going to the third or second longest. Okay, it's getting drier and drier. All right, we're already November 28th. It has not snowed, not even a trace of snow, not even a half an inch. The mountains, it's been snowing a little bit there, but even the ski resorts are delayed. All right, and they get their water. Remember, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and California, and Old Mexico get the water from the Colorado River, from our mountains, and the Rocky Mountains. So things are getting dry out here. And that's in the Holy Scriptures anyway. It talks about that it's going to, the hot wind is going to dry everything up. We're living in a time. We'll see tomorrow if it snows. I'll probably be out here doing another video tomorrow. It's getting a little chilly, but it's been nice. Well, today was nice. It hit 62 degrees today. It's been nice. A couple weeks ago, it was in the 70s. It's been nice in Colorado. All right, but Texas is done. right? And Texas, their property taxes doubled, and in some parts of Texas it tripled, and that's where they're going to destroy families, is with the property taxes. But those are the two states, Florida, Texas, and then comes Arizona and Nevada, and then you got other parts of the country that are going down. Denver's going to get hit too, you know. But all these cities are going to get hit. But yeah, it says yes. Articles report that Tyson is scaling back operations at a Texas facility, reducing its Amarillo beef plant to a single full capacity shift and eliminating around 1,700 jobs. So you got the 3,200, you got the 1,700 in Texas, and this is all around the holiday. They're not going to buy nothing for the holidays. And all these suckers that are at the malls today, they're a bunch of suckers. Okay, uneducated, unintelligent human beings. All right, because they're not planning for what's to come. The months that are coming is famine. They're over here buying big screen TVs. They're buying Jordan shoes, 2-3 pairs. They're buying things that they don't need. They probably already have 20-30 pairs in their closet. All right. You have these people, they're so bored with their life, they have nothing to do. Their life is nothing but a black hole. They go out there, they're drunk out of their mind, they're on drugs, and they're just spending their credit card. They're just like, it's called doom spending. These people are doom spending, and most of them are women. Most of you women put your family at risk of losing everything. All right, because women are out of control with their hair, their nails. They want their face. They want to look like they're 16 years old. You have women in their 50s, 60s, 70s year old women that still act like little children. I'm on a video. I'll call you right back. Yeah, you have all these older women and they still think they're teenagers. And they act just like teenagers. Gossiping on the phone. You women out there, man, you better woman up, smarten up, and get with the program. Or you're gonna be destroyed, and your family's gonna be destroyed. You've been warned of what's coming. But yeah, you have these people in Texas, and I it's just gonna get bad out here. We should look at Verizon layoffs. Look at this one. Read the memo Verizon sent to 13,000 employees. 13,000. Remember, this was before Thanksgiving. This is before Christmas Eve, before Christmas and New Year's. All these layoffs are happening with UPS, Amazon, all these, the U.S. Mail. I mean, it just goes on with corporations. There's purging. And most of these people, they're like responsible people, people that work hard, work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, now are losing their jobs. And I'll guarantee you, about 70, 80% of them have a mortgage. The other 20% rent. Most of them look like they're responsible people, and they're trying to buy a home. They're trying to live that American dream. You know, they don't want to waste their money just paying rent forever. And now they're going to lose their home. They're going to lose that down payment that they put on that home, and all these months or years that they've been paying the mortgage. Once you stop, the bank, they're going to foreclose on you. Okay? So it says Verizon has made it loud and clear that it is changing course after after losing customers. Yeah. Have you went to Verizon? I went to Verizon one time, and they said to have a few people of my family. We have like that family pack. It was in the hundreds of dollars. I said, you must be kidding me. Verizon, they're expensive. All right, of course they're losing. People can't afford it. And there's a big gym not too far from my house, up down south a little bit. My oldest son goes there. He just told me a couple of days ago that they closed it, and that place was packed. But something's going on with 24-hour fitness. A lot of them have been closing. I think in the metro area, 3 of them have closed. in our area, 3 of them. I don't know about the whole state. I haven't looked it up. Like I said, I'm so busy I can't even keep up with this stuff. But things are closing. People are probably can't afford their memberships, so they're closing the whole facility down. All right, and then you have all these Wendy's that are closed in the city. You have a lot of Walgreens that have closed, and they closed a lot of Safeways here in the city, in the metro area. All right, there's a lot of these stores that are just closing. So you have Verizon has made it loud and clear that it's changing course after losing customers. Last month, Verizon raised eyebrows when it unexpectedly announced that it was replacing its then CEO, Hans Vosberg, who held the position for over 7 years. It says Dan, the former CEO of PayPal, it says, officially took over Verizon CEO. Let's go move down. During the quarter of the year, Verizon saw 7,000 postpaid phone customers cancel their service. Approximately 90% of customers would consider alternatives to traditional carriers. But it looks like they fired 13,000. Yeah, following his comment, it says Verizon recently confirmed that it would lay off over 13,000 employees in a memo sent to employees, which was obtained by Business Insider. Schulman said that the layoffs are part of the company's efforts to simplify operations to address the complexity and friction that frustrate customers. It's important that we direct our energy and resources to set Verizon on a path to success, but 13,000 gone. All right. Like I said, this is just, and there's more plants that have been, I can't even keep up with them. How many UPS have fired their employees?
UPS has reduced its workforce by approximately 48,000 employees this year. This includes 34,000 operational positions, such as drivers and warehouse workers, and 14,000 management roles. These cuts are the deepest in the company's history.
Deepest in the history of UPS, 48,000. Remember, they have mortgages. They're sending their kids to schools. They're not going to be going on vacation. All right, they're not going to be. They're going to tighten their belt. They're going to stop spending. This thing is getting out of control. Okay, it's going to be a dominoes effect, and we've been warning the people. A lot of these people, there's going to be so many foreclosures in 2026, and like I said, then you're going to have corporate America, these big corporations in Wall Street. They're going to buy up all these houses. All right, they're going to make you rent forever. All right, and then if you go homeless, you're never going to be seen again, because it's illegal to be homeless in America. All right, that's why I've been saying this for over 40 years. Be grateful for what you have, for soon there will be none, because the Most High is going to purge this whole earth. Okay. I wanted to get into some scriptures, but it's already getting dark. But things ain't looking good. But there was one I wanted to see if I scripture here. The signs of the end, where he says, the holy book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1. I answered, Sir, you have shown me many signs. Shown me many signs which you will perform in the last days, but you have not told me how I can know when this will happen. He answered, consider all these things very carefully. When you see that some of the signs I have told you about have appeared, you will know that the time has come when God Most High, Yahweh, will bring judgment on the world He has created. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, unstable leaders, confused rulers. When you see these things happening, you will know that they are what God Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. The beginning and the end of everything that happens in this world are clear. The beginning and the end of everything. Did you hear that? Everything is coming to an end. This whole earth is about to be purged. The first death was in the times of Noah, which was the flood, and the second death is by fire, nuclear fire. That's in the holy book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 29, the coming of the Son of Man, the terrible day of the Lord. Soon after the trouble of those days, the sun will grow dark, the moon will no longer shine, the stars will fall from heaven, and that's from thermonuclear war. You're going to see those missiles going up in the atmosphere, coming straight down. They're going to look like falling stars on America, and it's going to go back and forth with Europe and Russia. And the moon will no longer shine, the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers in space will be driven from their courses. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the people of the earth will weep as they see the Son of Man. And then people are the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, we're going to rejoice. Whoever's left on the earth at that time, they're going to cry and rejoice when they see the second coming of the Lord Yahweh Shai. And they will weep when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. The great trumpet will sound, and He will send out His angels to the four corners of the earth, and they will gather His chosen people from one end of the world to the other. All praises to the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for watching. All praises to God forever and ever, so let it be true. Don't let Satan take your dignity. Fight the good fight. Keep on fighting. Never quit. All right? Get prepared. All right? For what's coming. Make your own food. Mind your own business. Read your holy book every day. Listen to the harp. Listen to the scriptures every day, in your car, in your home, every day. This is the time not to walk away. Don't look back. Keep moving forward. You want to make it to the finish line. Things are moving quick, and 2026 is going to be terror. Horror is coming to this land. All right, and to the four corners of this earth. And there's just so much news going on right now with our U.S. Navy, our military forces out there off of Valenzuela. It's escalating in Ukraine, and wars brewing back up. It's getting hot in the Middle East. You know, the tensions between the United States and China over Taiwan. Oh man, it's like I said, it's on. It's gonna get bad out here. All right. So, brothers and sisters, you got to be strong mentally, physically, and spiritually. Keep on fighting the good fight, brothers and sisters. Thank you for watching. Most High willing, I'll be here tomorrow. The water. Thank you.